Born on the mid-rim planet Nalhutta, which is the capital of the Hutt Empire, Kas'im was born to a couple of Twi'lek slaves. During a slave auction, he was noticed by a Twi'lek Sith Lord by the name of Nadaz. Due to his latent force potential, he proceeded to buy the young Kas'im and take him as his apprentice. Nadaz would go on to teach his apprentice everything he knew, and after he had taught Kas'im everything, his apprentice would go on to do what any ascending Sith apprentice would do. He had killed his master. During the decade that would lead up to the Battle of Ruusan, Kas'im had become the Blade Master of the Sith Academy on Korriban for the Brotherhood of Darkness to train the next generation of Sith Masters. He was stated to be the best lightsaber duelist in the Brotherhood, even the galaxy perhaps. It was here that he would meet one of his most promising students, Bane. Darth Bane would go on to enact in the Rule of Two, where he orchestrated the genocide of the Brotherhood, as well as indirect killing of Lord Hoth and a group of Jedi that followed him. Leading up to Bane's growing notoriety, the Dark Lord became very interested in him and his upcuttings and gave him special one-on-one sessions. Following a chain of events, Bane would be defeated and shamed by his rival Serac in the dueling ring. He was then shunned by the Master of the Academy on Korriban and would not receive any more special lessons from the Masters of the Academy. Bane went on to make a deal with the Blade Master to have him tutor him in private one-on-one sessions, saber to lightsaber combat. In exchange, Kas'im would get recognition for Bane's impressive skills. For the next few weeks, he and Bane would meet on top of the Academy in secret to train him in lightsaber combat. Upon winning his rematch with his rival, Kas'im revealed his involvement with Bane's growth. After Bane had returned from the ancient tombs of the Valley of the Dark Lords, he was even more disillusioned to the teachings of the Brotherhood of Darkness. Around the time of departure to Ruusan, Darth Bane had completely turned his back on the Brotherhood and left to the planet Lehorn, which was the home world of Kata species Infinite Empire. Lord Khan, the supreme leader of the Brotherhood, sought to cease Bane's insubordination, so he sent Kas'im to either turn Darth Bane from his foolishness or end him entirely. Kas'im did as was commanded. He traveled to the world and confronted Bane. He had first tried to reason with his former student, but alas, his efforts were for naught. They engaged in a heated duel through the temple, throwing each other's rage and passion as they crossed blades. As Bane was able to keep up with Kas'im's double-bladed onslaught, he began to change up his technique. He then disjointed his weapon and brandished a pair of lightsabers. He had done this on purpose to give himself an edge over the student of the Academy. This time, however, Bane was not able to keep up. With the odds against him, Bane used the only thing that he could, his force abilities. Lashing out with the powerful force push of Kas'im, he was able to put up a force wall to shield himself, but not the temple behind him. He had been crushed by the falling rubble, dead. However, Lord Kasim was not the last Twi'lek to be regarded with great prowess with the lightsaber. Anoon Bondara would be another such great force wielder. Anoon was a force sensitive from the planet of Ryloth and was instructed in the ways of force by the Jedi Master during the rise of the Empire era. He eventually rose to the rank of Knight and was even a contemporary of Qui-Gon Jinn. Anoon followed the path of a Jedi Guardian and even considered as a high-level practitioner of the lightsaber. After reaching the rank of Jedi Master, he took a position as the Jedi Watchman of his home sector. Eventually stepping down, he became an instructor at the main temple of Coruscant, training 3 Padawans successfully to the rank of Knight, and also instructing Obi-Wan Kenobi in the art of lightsaber combat. He had a 4th and final Padawan by the name of Dasha Asant, at the point where she was to begin her trials to knighthood. Instead of traditional trial at the temple, the High Council had her escort an informant to the temple for questioning. Upon returning to his quarters and meeting a disconcerted Dasha, who had somewhat failed her task, Anoon agreed to assist his student in recovering the body. Upon going into Coruscant's underbelly to retrieve the body, they were drawn to a tattooed Zabrak chasing a human named Lorn Pavan, a droid called I-5YQ. They then assisted the pair in escaping in their Jedi airspeeder, and soon realized that the pursuer was giving chase. Leaping from the speeder, the valiant Jedi Master landed on Zabrak's speeder bike and forced it to the solid ground. They both engaged in a lightsaber duel, but it soon became clear the fight was not going to go in the Jedi Master's way. He took it upon himself to sacrifice his life by blowing up a speeder bike that hoped would kill the assassin. Unfortunately, the secret apprentice lived, surviving only minor injuries, while the Master Bondara had died. Although Anoon Bondara was the last Twi'lek Jedi Master to fall to the Sith, Aayla Secura is a Force-sensitive born on the planet Ryloth in 48 BBY, trained as a Jedi and would later serve as a general. Quinlan Vos was the Jedi that rescued her from her home planet, or dispatched on a mission there. He then convinced his previous master to train the young Twi'lek to be a Jedi. After 8 years of age, Aayla became the Padawan of Quinlan and became very proficient with the lightsaber. They both went on many missions together, until they were both caught and drugged on her home planet. Both amnesia, however, worsening the effects for Aayla, as she had completely forgot anything Jedi related, including her master. Behind this act was none other than her own uncle, Paul Secura, and upon Vos finding out about this, he confronted the Twi'lek rashly and killed him. This angered Aayla and made her leave her master by himself. She then wanted revenge on her master and made her way to Kifex. She discovered the ancient Anzadi Dark Jedi Master Volfe Kako. Upon releasing the Dark Adept from his long slumber in the stasis field, she was seduced by Kako to the dark side. She not soon later faced her former master in a heated duel and soon realized during the fight who she was. After the ordeal on Kifex, she was sent back to the temple to be retrained and has her memories realigned. She became a knight after rescuing her old master Quinlan. I was even part of the Jedi strike team to rescue Senator Amidala, Anakin, and Obi-Wan and Geonosis. This event that she partook in would result in the start of the galactic-wide conflict known as the Clone Wars. She not long after that became a Jedi Master and was assigned to the 327th Star Corps. During this time, she had also developed a romantic relationship with another Jedi Master, Kit Fisto. She faced many adversaries like Asajj Ventress and Aurra Sing, and took part in many conflicts from the Battle of Quell to the Siege of Saleucami. Nearing the close of the Clone Wars, she was dispatched to the planet Felucia with her division. It was here that she met her end, and when troops received Order 66 from the new Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Following the defeat of Emperor Palpatine by the young Jedi Luke Skywalker, the galaxy would start down the path of restoration, as well as rebuilding the Jedi Order. Down the years, the Skywalker line would continue to go on and eventually produce a prodigy by the name of Cade Skywalker. It was around this time that a new Sith Order had emerged under the rule of One. The master of this new order would be the new Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Krayt, who was secretly one of the fallen Dark Jedi Master, Asherad Het. He was down and in desperate need of healing, which drew his attention to young Skywalker and his mysterious healing abilities. In order to carry out his will, he had a number of Sith that he kept in his inner circle, some of these being his personal hands. Darth Talon was one such servant who followed Krayt with unwavering loyalty. He was originally sent to bring back the Princess Maricia to find the whereabouts of the former Emperor. During her hunt, she was able to take note of the Skywalker and bring him to his master's attention. After Cade made an agreement to go with the Sith peacefully in exchange for his friends, Talon was to train and observe Skywalker, and even developed a romantic relationship with him. Approaching the climax in which she uncovered that her master was betrayed, she was at his side during the recapture of his power, where Darth Krayt battled and defeated his old regent. Soon after, Krayt plunged the galaxy into darkness, seeking to wipe out all life in the galaxy apart from those of the Sith. Following Darth Krayt's defeat, Darth Nihil instructed the Sith to go back into hiding, which Talon followed. Her ultimate fate is unknown. Hello and welcome. This is AI and this is my first Versus series video. Please bear in mind that it takes a lot of effort to create these videos, so I may not bring them to you as frequent as you may be used to with other YouTubers. I will be judging each team and characters based on the following aspects, which are racial and physical abilities, martial prowess, force ability, and equipment. Now let's get into it. Lord Kasim was a Lithan Twi'lek of unknown age, but I'll put him in middle age for the sake of this video. Lethans were the rare red-skinned variation of the Twi'lek species. He was described as having a very muscular build befitting that of a Sith warrior. Also with him being middle-aged, that would put him in his physical prime. Specializing as a warrior and duelist, he possessed well-honed hunter's instincts and was able to anticipate most, if not all, of his opponent's strikes and maneuvers. Darth Talon was also a Lethan of the Twi'lek species. She appeared to be in her early 20s, making her young to reach her physical prime. She was observed as using a lot of flips and jumps, making her agility her prime skill. Her endurance was also considerable, as shown when she was stabbed through the stomach by Kate Skywalker. Anoon Bondara Aayla routine Twi'lek, whose age has not been confirmed in any source. He, however, was mentioned to be a contemporary of Qui-Gon Jinn, which would put him around 70 years of age. This means he is well past his physical prime, yet he was still a formidable opponent when faced Darth Maul on Coruscant. He was also a terrorist Kas'im specialist, giving him an advantage with speed. Not much else can be said apart from that. Aayla Secura was also a routine Twi'lek of 29 years of age, which would put her at the start of her physical prime. She also had good levels of strength, speed, stamina that would be attributed to any trained Force wielder. Now I feel that although Talon and Aayla are a couple of years apart, they still share fairly equal physical capabilities, but you could also argue about Talon's endurance, though she was incapacitated at the time, so that edge is negligible at best. What really sets this category apart is the physical disparities between Kas'im and Anoon. Anoon Bondara may have had one of the most honed skills at the time, however the same cannot be said about his physicality. Lord Kasim, on the other hand, had been described as a martial beast, and to be well in his prime. As all of them are Twi'lek, even being from different subspecies, their racial advantages hold no stake over each other. The Sith win this round. Lord Kasim was described as being a master of the blade, and the best in the entire Brotherhood, perhaps in the galaxy. Being the Blade Master of the Warband Academy, he was a master of all forms. I have narrowed down his preferred styles: Form 2, Form 4, Form 6, and Form 7. Form 2, also known as Makshi, the Way of the Salamiri, or the Contention form, was a unique form created specifically for lightsaber-to-lightsaber combat. It emphasized elegance and minimalistic effort on the part of the practitioner. Rather than the hack and slash or use of shock and awe in their duels, they preferred to use precision strikes and fluid blade work to work their way into the enemy's guard. Due to its lack of popularity, many Jedi and Sith overlooked it as it was classed obsolete. However, if one applied themselves and covered the weaknesses of the form, they had become one of the most formidable lightsaber duelists of their time. Form 4, also known as Taru, the Way of the Hawkbat, also known as the Aggression form, was a lightsaber form that used very acrobatic and fast-paced sequences. It is also known for teaching hand-to-hand combat, as practitioners of the form would often be observed incorporating strikes into their sequences. Dual-blade fencing was also part of the physical form, however it lacked a significant defense and was taxing on one's stamina. Form 6, also known as Naman, the Way of the Rancor, or the Diplomat's form, was a combination of Forms 1 through 5 put together. It was a jack-of-all-trades form that had no specific specialization. It stood out, however, as it incorporated force attacks into one's lightsaber sequences due to its relaxed emphasis on blade work. It also, like a Taru, allowed for training in Jakai dual-blade fencing. Finally, Form 7, also known as Juyo, the Way of the Vornsker or the Frosty form, was the most physically and psychologically demanding form. It required one to master multiple previous forms to use as a basis for their Juyo, and sacrifice everything in the pursuit of a devastating offense. Users of the form were also open to force attacks, and is deadliest out of all the other forms, just as deadly as to the user as the opponent. I believe that this is the main form. The main form Kas'im used, however, was Niman. As stated in Antoine Bandelay's Darth Sidious vs Darth Bane video, we can see that Kas'im has a similar skill set to that of Sidious, with his use of Makashi for precision, Ataru for acrobatics, and Juyo for ferocity. Rather than switching to different styles, he combined them under the umbrella of Naman to keep his enemy guessing and to make himself unpredictable. Anoon Bondara was also a formidable practitioner of the lightsaber. His lightsaber form has not been confirmed in any source, however. From what I was able to gather though, I would say that he would be a practitioner of Form 5. It has also led some to believe that he was the battle master on Coruscant prior to Sin Drolig. This is further reinforced by the fact that he died the same year that Sin became the Battlemaster of Yoda. As this theory is what prompted me to make this video, in where the head lightsaber instructors of their respective orders go head to head. Anoon was also a high-level practitioner of the Terraskaze fighting style. Developed by the followers of Palawa, it was created to combat Jedi and Sith alike. It used speed and discipline to outmaneuver Force wielders, just showing how well equipped Anoon was, and how well equipped Anoon is, and how well deserved the rank of Weapon Master is to him. Darth Talon's preferred forms are not specified in any source, but like others I have concluded that her preferred forms are Form 2 and Form 4. She has been observed using a number of acrobatic maneuvers, as well as the use of a one-handed grip, emphasizing Makashi's use on fencing. She has also been observed integrating strikes with her lightsaber fights. Talon was very capable of nearly killing Jedi Master Sazin and defeating Shadow Veer. Aayla Secura does have her lightsaber confirmed, and they are Form 4, with some skill in Form 5 and a practitioner of Jarkai. She was also adept at hand-to-hand combat, as she would have sparring sessions with Commander Bly. Form 5 was split into two categories, Shien and Jijemso. However, Aayla learned towards Jijemso. Jijemso was built up from the Form 3 Surisu, which was created for lightsaber-to-lightsaber combat. The staple of the form was to follow up a good defense with a devastating offense. I would have said that she would have fallen for the form's weakness of footwork, but with her mastery of Wataru, she has successfully compensated for that. She survived the likes of General Grievous and defeated the likes of Aurra Sing. If Talon and Secura were to face one another head-on, I would not doubt in my mind that Aayla would come out victorious, simply due to her experience and the greater use of forms. Sure, perhaps Talon was instructed in Form 2, but you'd have to be an absolute master to make such a style effective like Shaak Ti or Count Dooku. I do not believe the same can be said when we look at Anoon and Kas'im. Kas'im boasted a wide array of skills as well as tactical insight in his fights. He also used his unique weapon to his advantage as shown in the fight against Darth Bane. On the other hand, we have Anoon's use of Juya and skill in Terraskaze. However, I believe that not only was Maul much younger than him that he lost to the fight, but that Maul was Sith. The Sith embraced their passions, their hatred, which makes Juyo, in my opinion, more dangerous in the hands of a Darksider than a Jedi. Sure, his skills in Terraskaze might pose a threat, but Kas'im is a master of surprise, and I feel that he'll be able to deal with it accordingly. With Talon and Anoon out of the picture, I think it's pretty much over for Aayla. The Sith will get the edge in martial prowess. For the Force abilities category, I'll skip over the lightsaber instructors, as they either never displayed any abilities, as they prefer to keep their fights close quarters, or they never had any aptitude with offensive Force abilities. With Talon achieving the rank of Darth, she had a number of abilities at her disposal, such as Force Lightning, Beast Mind Control, Force Push, Force Concealment, and proficient Force Sense. Her telepathic abilities were also slightly advanced, as she was able to pry information from the Imperial Knight, LK Vita. Her aptitude with Force Lightning was average, as she wasn't able to kill Master Sazin with it, but this can just have to do with his Force Shield instead. She was able to push through Shadow Veil's Force Shield, incapacitating him for some time. Aayla Secura did not have such a broad skill set, yet she was only able to use her Force Push and Force Pull to great effect. She also had some skill with Force Cloak, a skill she learned from her master Quinlan Vos. She also used the Force to seduce individuals to get information from them. With the lack of Force powers on Ayla's side, I would have to give Sith the clear edge. However, the Force Lightning can easily be blocked with Ayla's lightsaber, but Talon has the ability to incapacitate Aayla and penetrate her Force Shield with her Force Push. The Sith get the slight edge in Force ability. Now on to equipment. Kas'im owned a double-bladed lightsaber, which in fact could split at the hilt to give a pair of lightsabers. It utilized two red synthetic Sith crystals. Anoon Bondara used a standard-sized lightsaber with a green crystal, which had no other particular benefits. Darth Talon used a standard lightsaber which is encased in Yora core hilt, which held no real benefit other than aesthetic. Her lightsaber used a red synthetic crystal. Aayla Secura used a standard lightsaber with a blue crystal. Nothing else can be attributed to it. Kas'im is the only weapon with a significant advantage in this fight. The Sith again get the edge. And now, for my verdict. After a full evaluation of each side, and much thought on my part, I think it's safe to say that this would be not an easy match. But if I had to pick one side, I would have to go for the Sith. Sure, most of the edges went to them. Sure, it looks like this victory was assured a long time ago. For instance, when the force category, for example, was minute, and I doubt it would really come into play. I've already classed Talon as the weakest of the four, and she will be the first to go with the hand of Aayla. But by the time this has happened, Bondara would have met his fate by Lord Kasim, leaving Aayla and the Dark Lord to battle it out. Aayla will put up a good fight, but I feel in the end she will be soundly outdone by the Blade Master's skill and unpredictability. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this is the first of many. If you enjoyed this or have any inquiries, please continue to support me. Thank you very much and goodbye.